In this video series, we're going to go over how you can set up your first website. Your website is your portal to the online world, whether you are a stick and brick business, or in other words, a physical business, or whether you run a digital business where your whole business is run online. You always are going to need a website in either case. These days, almost every stick and brick has its own website. Now, fortunately, it isn't that difficult to do, and it certainly isn't expensive to get started. I will show you two different ways that you can get your website up, with the only expense being registering a domain name. Though the domain name is your address on the internet, so your www address, and your hosting account is something you also need, and it is where your files are stored on the internet. Now, both of these together cost very little. Your domain name will cost maybe $14 a year, and your hosting will cost maybe $4 a month. And those are your only expenses to getting your website set up. We're going to use all free tools to get our website set up as well, so there's no expense for web design. And now your first step is going to be to register a domain name for your business or for your hobby or whatever it is you're doing here. But in any case, you're going to need a domain name. There's a couple of places you can get these. Well, there's more than a couple, but the most popular ones are Namecheap. So it's namecheap.com. This is what's called a domain registrar. So you register a domain here and you pay it for a year or more. Okay, so what you do is you go down to the domain search, and then you would search on the domain name you want. Now, if you have a business name, then you would want to search on the business name here and see if it's available. If you're just doing something in general, like you have an interest in cooking, you might want to look on here and say recipe online. Okay, now you see over on here, this is the extension of your domain name. So you can use .com.org. There's several other ones here. You should try and stick with .com if you can. They're the most popular. You could also use .org or .net. Most of the rest of these you probably shouldn't use. They're not as popular, not as memorable. Of course, if you're going to do an adult type site, then you'd be using the XXX extension. And then there's the .info one. Some people use those for information sites, and they work okay for that. Okay, so once you've done that, you just click search here, and it'll go through and see if the domain name is available. You see here it says it's not available, and then it gives you some other alternatives down here. So you would just keep searching here until you find the domain name you want. Now, the other place you can go is GoDaddy. And it works similarly. You just put your domain name in here. So, recipe collection. And it'll go through. And you'll see here it says myrecipecollection.com is available. However, look at the price. See, somebody is selling it for $4,288. Then you renew it through the registrar. So this is what's called a premium domain name. Somebody's already bought it and is trying to sell it through GoDaddy. Alternatively, it gives you some other choices down here where you can go and see if you want any of these ones. Okay, so you get the idea. Now once you find one that you want, you're going to go through and register it. Now if you can't find the domain name you want, you may be able to find one by adding or taking letters out. For instance, you can put the word my in front of a domain name, like I did before, my recipes. And see here, I got Beam and then meupscotty.info. Okay, so if I was going to register this one, this would probably be for a Star Trek site. Okay, so I am going to do this. I'm going to register this domain name to take you through the process. I'm going to put use an info domain in this case because this is just going to be information about Star Trek. Okay, so that's the process you go through. You just find the domain name you want, and then you go through and you add this to your cart. So let's do that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the checkout. And in here you'll have to set up a account, which is free. Now if you want to, you can usually get web hosting through your domain registrar. Now I don't like to have all my eggs in one basket here, so I'll recommend another hosting provider. So I'm going to go no thanks here. Now I just see here it's telling me that I have domains expiring, so I could go ahead and register them at the same time here, but that's not what this is about, so I'm just going to go no thanks. Okay, now you see here that it's come in and put me at 5 years. I'm going to just register it for 1 year. You can also get privacy. What it does is it will protect your Whois information. You can look up who owns a domain name and their information using a Whois lookup. And with this, it'll just show a private company's name here, and your name won't appear anywhere. I don't usually do this. In some cases I would if I want it to be private. If I don't really care, then I will just leave it as it is. And then you usually get some discounts if you want to use multiple domains here. So we can add all of these domains for $13.98. But I'm just going to go with this one. So we have the price of the domain registration, and then you have an ICANN fee. This ICANN fee is by the providers of the domains. Okay, so we'll proceed to the checkout. Okay, and then if you're a new customer, you can sign up right at this point. If you're an existing customer, then you can go and put in your information here, and then we'll just go and finish it off. Okay, now after you've set up your account or signed in, if you already have an account, you can choose your payment method. So if you've already set up a preferred payment method, you can use credit, debit, prepaid card, PayPal, checking account, or gift card. So we're going to continue. Okay, and there we go. We have now completed our domain registration. Okay, now the next step we have to do is set up our hosting account. Now we're going to talk about web hosting. There are a lot of choices out there when it comes to web hosting, but I would suggest HostGator. They have several different plans you can use when you're getting started. And for when you're beginning, it's fine to use what's called shared hosting. And you'll see here it starts at $3.99 a month. So let's go here and view the web hosting plans. Okay, so you have Hatchling, Baby, and Business. Now we can compare all hosting plans by clicking here, and it brings up a table for us that'll show us everything we get. Now the plan I would suggest when you're starting out is the Baby plan. The reason I don't suggest the Hatchling plan is because you only can register a single domain name. As you see here, domains allowed one, whereas with the Baby plan you're allowed unlimited domain names. Now chances are you're going to want to put more than one website up at some point, so you would have to go and upgrade your account or buy another Hatchling plan or another Baby plan, or at least another hosting plan of some sort if you went with the Hatchling. Okay, so that's why I suggest the Baby plan. The Business plan gives you quite a bit more stuff, but when you're starting out, the Baby plan is fine. It gives you everything you need. You have unlimited domains, you have unlimited number of databases, which is important if you're putting up other types of sites. You have unlimited subdomains, unlimited FTP accounts. So it has everything you need right off the bat. Okay, so let's close this. Okay, so what you would do is click on Order Now. And then you would click over here where I already have a domain name. I put my domain name in here that I just registered. Okay, so you see it's brought up some other choices for me again if I wanted to secure those domain names. And you pick your package type, so we're going with baby. And then you pick how you want to pay. So a lot of times you'll pay more if you just register by the month than you would if you do a multiple months or a year. I'm just going to go with 1 month. Now, here's where you set up your account, your username, security PIN. You put in your billing information and you go through the registration process. Okay, so this is what we'd pay down here. Now notice that it's sneakily added in some hosting add-ons here. So we've got Silent Lock, Code Guard. Let's take those out. Okay, now I would have $7.96. And I would, at this point, I would go ahead and create the account. Now, I don't need to do this because I can host multiple domains on the account I already have. But you would go through this, and what will happen is they're going to send you an email with your name servers on it. And then you need to point your name servers on your domain name to your hosting account. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Okay, now in your welcome email after you've signed up, you should find in there something like this, your name servers. So in my case, these are the name servers that I have to set. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to GoDaddy, which I registered this at. So wherever you register at, there'll be a place where you can manage your domains. So I'm going to go and launch here. Okay, so you'll have your domain names in a list here. So as you see, it's the first one here. So let's click on that. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to change our name servers. So you see here it says name servers. Those are the ones that it put in there by default. So what we're going to do is click manage. Now what we're going to do is just put our name servers in here. So this is my name server 1. So I grab this piece. Okay, so what we have to do is click on custom here. And then we're going to want to do enter custom name servers. Okay, so let's just put our name server in here. So I just pasted that from my document. And then we can go back here and put the second one in. You'll always have at least 2. There can be more. So if there's more than the 2, you can just add name server and keep on going. Let's click OK. And there we go. We'll click save. And it has now changed our domain name servers. Now on a freshly registered domain name, this could take up to half an hour for it to be available for you to use. If it's been registered for longer than that, for like it's been registered for several days, it could take up to 24 hours before it will propagate and be available. Okay, now your hosting account comes with a control panel, and all you have to do is type in your domain name. So in my case, it would be beammeupscotty.com/ and then the word cPanel, just like you see up here, cPanel. Hit enter, you'll get a login screen. And then once you're in, you'll see something like this. It may not be exactly the same. Now, actually, in my case, this is going to be an add-on domain. So if you've already registered a domain name before and you want to register another domain name, then I'll go through the procedure with you because that's what I did here. I have a main domain name on my account already, and I'm going to add this domain name into here. Now, you don't have to do this, of course, if this is your first domain name you've ever registered. But down the road, you may register some more, so you're going to want to know how to do this. Okay, so you want to roll down until you see domains, and then you'll see add-on domains. So click there. Okay, and then I put my new domain name here. Okay, now keep in mind that you're not going to be doing this unless you're registering a 2nd, 3rd, 10th, or whatever domain name. You won't need to do this for the main domain name when you set up your account. Okay, so here we go. It's given me a directory within my hosting account where all these files will reside. Okay, so now you just set up your password, and you can just use a password generator for that. Okay, then I just click Add Domain. Okay, so at this point I've got my add-on domain name in here. Okay, so at this point we're ready to go on with getting our site set up. Okay, in this video we're going to go over the first method I'm going to show you to set up your website, and that's going to be using free website templates, and basically you just edit them and fill them in. Okay, now what you see in front of you here is when I type in the domain name I just registered and attached to my hosting account, this is what happens. There's nothing in it. Now if you are registering a new domain name and a new hosting account, not an add-on domain name, you may get a welcome page here. Okay, so once you get that, you know that your domain name is ready. Okay, and you can get these free templates at oswd.org. So that's Open Source Web Design is what that stands for. So you'll see in here that you can just look at the designs from the page here, and there's other, like if you click on it here, you can have a look at what it looks like. And then if you want to download it, you just click here and away you go. Okay, you can read the comments of what other people have said about the design. Okay, so basically what you're going to want to do is go through here and find something that you like. Now, you'll see here that there's search all designs. This thing has been broken for at least 5 years. I don't know why they don't fix it. But what you can do instead is go into Google, and you can do a search on a particular website. Okay, so let's go to google.com. Let's open another window here. Okay, so all we have to do is type in the keyword, and then after that a space, and then the word site with a colon and the name of the site. So like this. So you see I'm going to search on the word space, and then the site colon oswd.org. Okay, so now if I click on that, this is going to show us all of the results searching for the word space in here. So this is a way I can find a site that I might want, or a template that I might want. So let's have a look. So this is the exercise you're going to need to go through to find the type of site you want. They don't make it very easy for you by not having their search working properly. So just go through and find one that you like. Okay, so here's an example here. I can use this one for my purposes. You'll see here that there are different links, and what we end up doing is we create new pages for each of these links, and if we don't want a link we take it off, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But let's go download now, and you'll see that it is downloading for us. Okay, so at this point what we need to do is unzip that and then modify the site to our needs. Okay, so I'm going to copy that into a different folder here. Okay, so I've just copied it into its own folder here. Now I'm going to extract this. So Windows has a built-in extractor. You can just use extract all and extract. Okay, so there it is inside there. Dark theme. And here is our page. So if we double click on that, we'll see there it is. Now you notice there was only one page there, and that's because that's all there is. If you want to make more pages, you need to make a copy of this. So let's do a copy and a paste and make another copy of it. Now let's say we want to have contact us. So we'll rename this one. contact us. And so on. So that's what you do. You just create a new page for every link that you want. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is get a free web editor. And you can get one called Composer that's very good and it's free. So all you do, again, back to Google we go. And then we type in Composer. It's K-O-M-P and then O-Z. And then you see it here, Composer. Now if you don't have prediction turned on, then you're going to have to type in the whole thing and click the Enter key. So let's just click here, Downloads. And you want to install the stable version and install it on your computer. Okay, so here's what Composer looks like after you open it up. You'll notice that it is a lot like a word processor. That's why it's so simple to use. You have your basic functions here just like in a word processor. You can save it. There's some other things you can do here, but we don't need to do very much because we're using templates. So we don't need to worry about all the advanced functions. So let's open our home page here. So click Open. Okay, so now we just navigate to where our pages are. Okay, so index, if it's named index, and you may see the extension on your computer and you may not depending on if you have it turned on, but index.html, .htm, .php and several other will be the home page. So when you're on the server, your server will know automatically when your domain name is typed in to go to this page. So let's open that up. Okay, now all we have to do is change the text. Okay, and then also you can, just like a word processor, you can keep on editing here. But you get the idea. Now, our home page just is going to point to this site here, okay? So we don't care about that. Now we can just remove these if we don't want them. So I'm going to remove this one and this one. And just have contact us. Now what we want to do here is link to our contact us page. So we highlight it like that, and then up here you'll see link, and then click the little folder here, and then click on contact us. Now that link, when we save the website and click on it, will point to that site. Now if we wanted it to open a new window, we could click here and in a new window or these other choices, but in this case we just want it to go in the same window. We'll click OK, and then here is your intro text, so you put anything you want in there. You can also change images if you want. If you have a different image you want to use, just click on the one you want to replace and put it in there. You can insert an image here, so if we wanted to, we could just click image, and then we would put the location of the image. You can either use a URL or you can get an image off your computer here. Okay, so I'm just going to get one that I saved here. Okay, so now I took this one off of Google Images. Don't do that. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. There are copyright issues with these, so I need to make sure that you have the rights to use any image you are going to use. Okay, alternate text, it just will display this text if it can't load the image for some reason. So put whatever you need there. Now you want to go next to appearance. Now if I was to put this image, well, let's just put it in. See, what happened is it put it above the text, and if that's what you want, that's fine. Let's click on the image again, Go up to images, and let's go back to appearance. Okay, so what we can do here is we can either wrap the text to the left or wrap the text to the right. So let's go wrap to the right. Click OK, and you'll see now that the text wraps around the image. Okay, you see down here there's other links, so if you want to make other pages that hook to that, you can do that. I'm just going to remove them here. So just highlight and hit the delete key. Okay, so there's my first page. Now I'm going to open up my next page, Contact Us, and then I'm going to remove the ones I don't need here, which are all of them except home in this case, because I don't need a link to myself on this page. Okay, so I'm going to link back here, highlight that, go to link, the folder, link to the index page, click OK, and now I would put here Contact Us, and then down here I put the appropriate information in. Okay, so and then this is, like, as I say, like a word processor, so you can highlight and then you can go ahead and change the font if you want. So you go font and then pick whichever one you want. Say Verdana. And you can also increase or decrease the size. So if we want to increase, underline, etc. Okay, so you would just put in the information you need in here, pick the formats. Let's take this out at the bottom, and there we go. Okay, so that's how easy it is. You just go and modify the template, just make a copy. You should actually make a copy of the original and leave it here so that you can just keep copying that. But let's bring this up on our browser now. So I double click on it. Here's what our website looks like. If I click on Contact Us, it goes to the Contact Us page. If I click at Home from here, it goes to the home page. Okay, so at this point we're ready to upload the site to our server. Okay, now there are two ways that you can upload your files. You can go to your cPanel, remember it's your domain name / cPanel, and log in, and then you can use the file manager. So if you click on here, okay, so here we are where we upload the files. So all we have to do now is click on upload up here, and then we can choose the file and upload it. Now, to be honest, this is a very awkward way to do it, and I don't suggest it. What we're going to do instead is use an FTP client. Now, what you want to do is download a program called FileZilla, which is free. Okay, so here you go. Just do a search, and then you can download the appropriate version and install it. Okay, now after you have installed it and open up, this is what it looks like. So what you're going to have on the left side is your computer. So all you do is you navigate to where your files are. So let's go in here. Okay, and these are the files we want to upload. On the right side will be your server. Now you can put in the information right here. So the host is your domain name, and then the username and password for your FTP account. Those would be the same as your cPanel login, or you can go to your cPanel and you can set up a separate FTP account if you want. Now the other thing you can do is go to the site manager. And then what you want to do is click on New Site, give it a name here, Okay, and then the same thing here. So we put in beam me up Scotty.com. Okay, and then we're going to change this to normal, the login type. And then what you want to do is put in your username and password here. And then we're going to click OK. Okay, there it is. Actually, we can just click connect from here. Okay, and there we're connected. Now to upload them, all we do is click on it here, hold the control key down, and click on all the files you want to upload. Now we're going to right click, click upload, and those are going to go up to our server. And there it is. So now let's go and type in the domain name in our browser bar. Bring it up. And there it is on the web. Okay, now you'll see here that the picture didn't show up in here because it wasn't uploaded to the right spot. And you'll see that it showed a Star Trek there. Now, the reason is because we placed this image outside of where our folder or our website is. So let's copy that. Let's put it into the images directory. Okay, make sure that you always have all your files in the images directory. Now we need to go back and edit this. Let's click on this picture here. Let's go to image, and then we need to pick the right one. There we go, inside images. Click OK and save. Okay, that was a misstep there. Make sure your images are always in the same spot inside the images directory. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and upload these again. And we'll just say overwrite, that's okay. We'll do always and apply to current queue only. And that'll re-upload those, and plus upload the one that it didn't get. Now let's go and refresh this. And there's our picture. Okay, so there's a lesson for you. Make sure that you always have your images in the right spot. Okay, let's click on Contact Us. Let's click back on Home. And there you are. You have your website up using your free website templates and free tools. Now a better way to set up your website is to use a free script called WordPress. And if you go into your cPanel, you'll see something called Fantastico Deluxe. To install it, you can use an automated process here. So let's click on that. Now before I go any further, I'm going to delete our old site out of here, our example site, because WordPress won't like it being in there. Okay. Now, what we do now is we click on WordPress, and then we're going to click on New Install. Okay, now your domain name will be sitting right here if you only have one domain name. If you have many, you have add-on domains, then by clicking in this box over here, you'll be able to pick the proper domain name out of there. Now this box here, installing a directory, if you put something in here, it'll install it inside of that directory. So they would have to type in the domain name / and this directory to get to it. We don't want that, so leave that blank. Down here you're going to need an admin name, and then you're going to need a password. Okay, so these are so you can log into WordPress. Okay, now down here you can put in the admin nickname. So let's just say Scotty. Okay, here you want to put in an admin email address. Now the site name, so Beam Me Up Scotty, whatever you're calling it. And then a tagline. Okay, so all you never wanted to know about Trek. And that's it. Now we click Install WordPress. Then finish installation. And our WordPress site is installed. Now down here where it says email, you can put an email address in here and send yourself the details of your site. So if we click here now, we get to the login page of WordPress. So let's log in. Actually, just click remember me here. We'll log in. And that's how simple it is to install. Okay, now if we were to have a look at the skeleton of this, here's what our site looks like right now. So it's not much to look at. What you want to do is upgrade your site. Now you can do that by using the update right here, or updates, and then just click update now, and that'll update us to the newest version of WordPress. It may come up and ask you for your FTP information. If it does, just put it in there. That's the same as what you put into FileZilla and what you log into your cPanel with. And then we'll just go to plugins, and then we're going to delete this Hello Dolly one. Okay, so there we are. We have a skeleton install. Now what we want to do is find a theme for our site. Now there are a couple ways to do this: appearance and themes. Okay, so what this will do is change the look of our site. You'll see right now we have one here called 2012, which it defaulted to. This is the new one that it installed when we upgraded WordPress, and here's another one here. But what we want to do is search for one for our particular needs. So we can search within the WordPress codex right here. So what we're going to do is see if we can find one that fits in here. So click in space, and if we find one we like here, we can use it. Okay, I'm not seeing anything I like there. So what we can do instead is go back to Google, and then we'll type in free space, which is my keyword I want for my WordPress blog, WordPress themes. Okay, and it'll go out and see if it can find some for us. Okay, you'll see here we have premium WordPress themes. These usually aren't free if it says premium, but you can always buy one if you find one that you really like. Okay, so you see here there is a demo. Usually there's a demo on a WordPress theme, so you can bring it up, see what you think. And then there's a free download and a buy. Alright, so I'm going to keep looking until I find one that I like. So we just go through this process. We go and see what we can find. Okay, so let's see if we can find a Star Trek one specifically. Okay, so here's an example here. Here's a preview link, so let's have a look. It's got the Star Trek logo on it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So I'm just going to download it now. And you'll see it's downloading. I accidentally hit it more than once there. Okay, so let's go back to our install themes. Now what we're going to do is click upload. We're going to upload it from our computer. So now we choose the file. Okay, so here's my Star Trek logo theme. We're going to open. Now we just click Install Now. And we can do a live preview here. Let's just activate it. And simple as that, we now have a Star Trek themed site right here. Okay, so now it's time to add the content. So of course you wouldn't be searching for Star Trek, but if it's a business type of site you're creating, you might look for a business theme. Just get something that matches. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is go to all posts here, posts, all posts. We're going to delete this, so you just put your mouse over trash and delete this hello world post. And then we're going to go to pages here, go to all pages, and then we're going to trash the sample page. Now WordPress is divided between posts and pages. Posts are for blogging, so if you're creating a blog, you're going to use posts and categories. Pages are static. They don't follow a blog in categories in the tree. Okay, so we're going to use pages for our site. So we'll do add new. Then we'll go all about Star Trek. Whatever you want the title to be. And then you would put your content down here. Now, you see this add media button. If you want to add a picture in here, you click on that. Now you can either select files or you can drag it into here. So let's go get my folder that I have my picture in. Here it is. So what I can do is just drag this. I'll just drag this up into this area and let go. And there's the picture in there. Now you'll see over here that we can insert it into the page right now. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to close this at the moment. We're going to come back to that. So now we would put in our content. And then away we go. So I'm going to just put a bunch of stuff in here. Now I'm going to just grab this from Wikipedia. Now you don't do this. I'm just doing this as an example. So I'm just going to copy, and then I'm going to go back here. And I'll just paste this in here. Now, let's go back to add. Let's go to the top here and put our mouse right at the beginning. You put the mouse where you want the picture to be. Okay, and I'm going to go to add media, and then now I can insert it into the post. So here, well, let's just insert into page actually, and there it is. So let's click on that, and then click on this little picture here, and then we get some options here. So let's align it left. You see the text wraps around it there. Let's call this Star Trek. This is the alternative text like I referred to in the static website. And the link URL. Now, if somebody clicks on this link, then it's going to go to the actual picture. So let's just click None here and update. Okay, now let's go and publish this. And there's our page. Now you'll see up here there's screen options, and you should turn on discussion here. And then you can determine if you want to allow people to leave comments. Turn this trackback thing off. If you want to allow comments, leave this checked. If you don't, uncheck it and update. Now you can do that automatically for every page or post you write by going into settings and then discussion. Okay, and then what you do is you just turn all of these first three off. You should turn the first two off anyway, but if you turn the third one off, the comments will automatically be unchecked. Okay, let's save that. Now if we look at our site now, you'll see that it's coming up with a not found. And the reason is because we haven't set the home page. So what we need to do is go to settings, and then we want to go to reading. Now up here you'll see a static page. Click on that, then we're going to select, and there we go. I see I have a spelling error there. Okay, so let's go fix that. So all pages, click edit. And so you can edit these at any time. Okay, let's look at our site now. Okay, and here it is. Now the other thing we're going to want to do is fix what's on the side here. So if we go over back to dashboard, you could actually go into widgets from here, but you go into appearance and widgets. Widgets are what's on the side of your site. Okay, so we have search, recent posts. We're going to take recent posts off, recent comments, and take off archives, and take off categories, and we're going to take off meta. Okay, so that's all we have is the search box. Okay, now what you might want to do is put on pages. Okay, and then you could call this navigation. Okay, let's save that. Now let's go have a look at our site. And there it is. Okay, so here's our theme. We have our article down here. And then here's our search. Here's our navigation. So that's all there is to it. Now, the good thing about this is when we add other pages, we don't have anything else to do. So let's add a page. Just click Add New. And we'll call this Join Our Newsletter. And then you put the content in here, fill the box below. Okay, and then you put whatever you're using here to subscribe to your newsletter and publish. And that's all it is to it for adding pages. Now you'll see down here that since we turned off discussion, these are not populated. So if you want them to be populated, you just click allow. So let's go have a look now. Okay, and here we are, and here's our navigation, and join our newsletter. Okay, so we did all that without knowing a thing about designing a website. All we had to do was install it and then start putting our content in. Okay, so that's how you can use WordPress to create your site. Okay, so at this point you've been shown all the tools that you need to set up your own site. As you see, it is not a complicated process, but once you know how to do it, you'll be able to set up as many sites as you want.